Hi, hello, and welcome you guys to the Plot Twist podcast, episode 10, I believe. Welcome if you're new, or welcome back to the channel. And I haven't been here in forever, and I'm going to talk about this in a second. My name is Catherine. I am coming to you from Berlin, Germany, which is where I grew up and where I live with my husband and our 3 kids. I lead a slow fashion lifestyle, and this is what I talk about here. So this is a slow fashion podcast focusing primarily on knitting, but also very much on mending. And then on all the other things that are going through my mind that I got obsessed with, and so on and so forth. So all the crafting, all the making, all the thinking that I have to share, I share this here in my podcast. So, and it's been a while. And I apologize for not being here sooner because it's been, I think, about a month, maybe to the day that I recorded last. And this is not what I had in mind. Also, it's still December, and I meant to do Vlogmas this year. And I did it for 3 days, and then I fell off the bandwagon because I mean, for a host of reasons. Because first, I couldn't keep up with the daily recording because of my work, because I had work to do and I couldn't do it. Because the kids are out of the house for just a few hours every day, and I have to use those hours, and I couldn't for work. I couldn't use it for work. And so, okay, I thought I'm just going to collect like little films and snippets throughout the day, and then that didn't work because my kids got sick and I had to stay home all day, 2 out of 3. And then eventually that got better, and I went back for a few days, and then I got ill. And so that was not good. And you know, if you have kids, that is the worst case scenario, really. If the parents are sick, then everything sort of collapses, right? So yeah, then I was ill, and then we all felt a little better, and we had 5,000 Christmas preparations to do. Then I felt I hoped I could still record just before Christmas, and then that didn't work because there was just too much that was still to be done on our lists and also to be enjoyed with the kids. So yeah. And then on Christmas Day, because we celebrate Christmas on Christmas Eve on the 24th. So this is the German Christmas, right? And then we have 2 Christmas days. So the 25th and the 26th, that's also still a holiday. And on the 25th, I fell ill again, or I had a sort of a rekindling of that cold that I'd had. And I had to spend some time in bed, and thankfully I could, because that's one of the worst things I feel about parenting, is that you can never be ill. You can never really rest when you need rest, and that is so hard. It's just so hard. But my husband is on vacation, so he's home now, so he could take care of the kids so that I could spend, I think it was only just an hour and a half in bed, but it helped. And after that, I felt much better. And before, you know, on the night, yeah, it was the night of the 25th that it really hit me. And the cold, that it sort of came back, and it really hit me. And it was as if I had encountered almost headless Nick, and he had flown right through me, because it felt like I know I was walking down our hallway to the kitchen, and it was all of a sudden, it was whoosh, and it was all cold. I was all cold, as if a ghost had flown through me. And I thought, what is this? Why am I so cold all of a sudden? And it didn't go. It got worse and worse and worse, and I felt so cold all evening. And then I went to bed with the kids, took them to bed, and lay there with a hot water bottle and our covers up to here, and I was still freezing, and I had a sweatshirt on, so it was a ridiculous situation because I wasn't supposed to still be cold, but it was so cold. And then I got up for, I don't know, an hour tops, and sat on the couch right here and talked to my husband. And then I said, I can't do this. I have to go back to bed. And then on the morning of the 26th, so yesterday is when I could lie down, and then it was much better. So I don't know what that was. I can still feel the cold, like it's still in my system, but it's, I think it was exhaustion a little bit, and it was, I don't know what it was. It doesn't matter anyway. So, but yeah. So that this December was rough. It was, I mean, we did get to do many, or I did get to do many things with the kids that all of us were looking forward to, but that was all that I could do, really, because I had a ton of doctor's appointments, because I'm starting treatment for my stomach. I've had stomach issues for 20 years, really. And finally, there seems to be hope that that there's, actually help out there. So because I ran to doctor's offices in the past, and they all ended up telling me, well, it's probably just stress. And I was like, yeah, okay, so what can I do with that? I mean, and I said, they don't know how to help me. And I eventually accepted that. And then I stumbled across a doctor who works differently and is very optimistic that there's still something to be done. And so I have started treatment. And that is, it's good. And I'm very glad that I stumbled across him. And I'm very glad that there is obviously help out there for me. It's not the end of the world, the problems that I have, but they're very annoying. And I'm also very glad that I can afford this treatment, because obviously, I mean, we have a different sort of insurance system than you have in the States or wherever you may live. It's pretty well known in the world, our insurance system. So, but this is something that is not covered by insurance, and that is a rare occasion, because usually things are, treatments are covered. And so that I have to pay this, or we have to pay this ourselves, and I'm very glad that we can, because it doesn't come cheap. Anyways, that's not such an interesting story. It's just to say that I spent a whole lot of time at doctor's offices on top of everything else. Then just before Christmas, I had to run to a doctor for a different thing, because I got a rash in my face. I don't know if you want to know that, but it didn't look good, and I didn't want to carry that into the holidays, because that wouldn't have been good. So I had to do this, and oh man, we've not been feeling our best over those last few weeks, unfortunately, because I love December, but this December was just very exhausting. So here I am, post holidays, after the holidays. I have to say that the time that comes now, the days between the holidays and New Year's, and as we slowly start into our next year, are really among the favorite few days in the whole year for me. It's such an enjoyable time, this in-between time. I love that. I hope that we get to enjoy that because of health, because of the very short time span that we have this year. Because I think the kids are still home on the 2nd, and they go back to school on the 3rd. Yeah, I think that's what it is. And that is very early for us. We usually have until the 6th or something like that to stay home. So, I feel like someone's taking away the most enjoyable days of the year from us. But also, I don't want to complain, because as long as we're getting back onto our feet, like all 5 of us, I have nothing to complain about. So, and I'm very happy that today I get to be back here with you and chat to you about what I've been making, which isn't a ton, but then again, it's been a month. So yeah, I'm quickly sharing with you my black tea, my usual tea, out of I have to hold it close so you can see the speckles, out of my speckled Monty Potts cup that is chipped. I don't know why, I don't know how it happened. It did happen though. I got this as a birthday gift a year ago. Yeah. Before I forget, You can find everything that I talk about here, all the show notes, the links to whatever it is that that I talk about down in the description box below this video. Whatever it is that you want to look up or it didn't quite catch what I said, you can follow the links below. Oh man, that's hard to say. Sorry, I haven't done this in a while. So I'm gonna give you a quick update on my Advent socks, on my Christmas socks, because I bought a skein of, that's what's left, of Nicole C. Mendes. It's, oh man, what is it called? I think it's her strong sock base or something like that. So her sock yarn. And if she has different ones, it's the sturdier one. In her, I think it should be called Gingerbread House, but it's called Christmas Cookies, in her Christmas Cookies colorway. So it's got a sort of a salmony red and a minty green, and then sort of caramel brown and white in it. And I wound this skein up into 2 balls and sent a half of it, or a bit over the half of it, to my friend Francie. Hi. And I kept the other half, or almost half, of the skein. And we did a sort of a share pair situation where she got half and I got half, and then we could both knit our Advent socks. And obviously, because of that crazy months that I've just had, she finished much earlier than I, but I can say that I have 1 sock finished and not on the sock blocker because I forgot, but here it is. It looks a little weird. It's just because the cuff is not as long. I didn't want to make it too long because I was afraid of running out of yarn. So that's the sock. I cast on 60 stitches with a 2.25 millimeter needle, knit 2 rounds or whatever, something like that. And then I switched to my Knit Pro Zings 2.25 millimeter needles, and that would be I don't remember, US size 1. Yeah, I magic loop my socks, which is what I always do, and I went with a 5x1 rib for the leg and the foot. I chose white as a contrast color for the toes and the cuff, and also for the heel, but I held it double with this yarn. So you see it's very thin. It is thinner than sock yarn, and I held this double, these two together. I can show you, hold on. Can I? I don't know. So I held these two together, right? Hope you could see that there. To reinforce the heel, and also to play with the blue, because I was debating putting the blue in as a contrast color. And then I went with the white because I thought it would be nicer, the mint and the white, as opposed to the mint and the blue, because I thought the blue might end up being a little dominant, and I didn't want for it to swallow up the mint. I meant. And so, why am I using the sock that has needles in it? And so I went along and held it double, those two double, and created a marled heel flap right there. So that's one sock. That's done. And that's the other one where you can see I'm just past the heel, and I'm now in that spot where I can start knitting sideways, basically, where I'm knitting the foot and this, and the gusset, obviously. And this is going to fly off the needles, because once, I've said this before, but with every sock that I knit, I feel once you're past the heel, you're almost done. Like, if this takes you, I don't know, X amount of time, this is going to take a fifth of that. This is just going to fly, even if it's much longer and much longer piece, but in this case, but it's going to take no time at all. I say that now, but then days go by and I don't get anything done. But you know, that's my Advent sock. For what it's worth, that's my Advent sock. Then I had another Advent project that was actually tied to a knit-along that I hosted. I'm still hosting. Well, technically it ran until Christmas. It was, what was it called? The Advent Sweater Knit-Along. And it was not a finish your sweater by Christmas knit-along, but just work on your sweater in those days leading up to Christmas. And this knit-along, I'm happy to report, actually made me work on my sweater more. When you see it now, you think it's ridiculous because I didn't get much done. But there were just many evenings when I couldn't knit because I had to do other things. Well, it is what it is. I think over the last years, there haven't been as many evenings as during December, or just days when I didn't knit. This is really extraordinary, but okay, it is what it is. And I got to do other things which were also fun, and also I enjoy all those festive things that you get to do during December, but I didn't get much knitting done. But I did knit through my yoke. Ta-da! And that's what I've done. So I've only just split for the sleeves, so they're on hold. And I'm going to show you this up close, but it's also nice for me to see it up like this. So that's how much I've done. I went with, so this is the Festive Yoke pullover designed by Ali of Skandir Knits, right? And I'm using Rauma Finul PT2. I'm going to show you the yarn in a second. Needle size, I don't know, I'm gonna have to look that up. And I went with her suggested first motif, and with the second, this beautiful tree motif, and then the third, I switched that up and included this little heart. And now I'm going to show you up close. So, I'm not a color work pro, but it's good enough. And it's going to relax when I give this a soak. So, yeah, that's how much I got done. And on some evenings I was like, oh man, now what am I gonna do? Because I have a little moment to sit down on the couch and relax into the evening. So now what am I gonna do? And then I thought, no, hold on. You're hosting this cal, so take out your sweater, focus on the sweater for an hour, and then and just enjoy that little bit of progress. And this knit along, it sounds weird, but it really helped me focus on making progress on my sweater. And here it is. So yeah, that's the sweater situation. I am working with Rauma Finul PT2, which I think is a Norwegian yarn. And so the colorway for the blue is number 4123. And my contrasting color is this pink yarn, same yarn, colorway 4133. So yeah, that's that. And my color, my needle size. So it's Knit Pro Zings. It's a 3.25 millimeter needle, which translates into a size 3 US. There you go. That's that. Okay. And these are the two projects that I've been working on. I haven't worked on my Advent minis that I got from my friend Claire. Hi. Because I collected them and wanted to get inspired by them to, like I said in the past, listen to what they want to become. And this month has just not been one where I got inspired to cast on more things, or really think about new projects. I mean, yes, here and there, but not really. So that is a project for January, maybe. I think some of the yarn is going to go into my jelly roll blanket, but other yarns may want to become other things. Some of the yarn may go into color work projects. I don't know. I'm gonna have to think about that. Yeah, but that's also part of the fun, the figuring out what to do with the individual pieces, right? And I have to tell you, the advent calendar was just so beautiful. I was so happy that we decided to exchange advent calendars again, so they're from our own stash. And we've done this for a few years now, and it's always so fun. It has been so fun. I have one finished object, but I don't have it with me. It's my daughter's Julevotter advent calendar. So I knit her these little mittens, 24 of them, and I finished on the 4th or 5th of December, so it wasn't too bad. And I mean, not that she needed one. She's not even 2. She's turning 2 in January. But it was fun for her to also have a tiny little mitten. It was more fun for the boys that she was included. And yeah, so they had so much fun opening their mittens. And like every year they say, oh man, it went by so fast. It's such a pity that we don't get to have to sort of open our mittens every morning. And I'm like, yeah, you're just gonna have to wait another 11 months and then we're good to go. But they were really excited about their calendars, and that just makes me so happy. And I think we managed to include good stuff. Like, we didn't clutter up our house, and with the stuff from the advent calendars, it was things that they could use. And yeah, well, it was just small things, right? And they were so excited. And I love it when I get so excited about tiny little things. You don't have to give huge, big gifts. They're excited about small things too, right? And sometimes I put a card on the table for both of the boys, and I've written something on it. Like, today we're going to do this. Today you're going to be able to do that. And my oldest son, he's 7 now, he said to me, it's always the most fun when there's a card on the table. And that made my heart so happy, because I thought, oh man, he really wants the activities, He doesn't want all the stuff. He wants to do something. And it's fun for him when it says, today we're going to do this, or today you get to do that. And yeah, so that's fun. And on the 24th, I wrote on the card so it's called Sylvester for us, on the 31st, on New Year's Eve, you get to stay up late, and when my little daughter will have gone to bed, the 4 of us can snuggle up on the couch, and you may watch a movie or 2 with us. And they never get to do this. There hasn't been a movie night with the kids, but they've requested one, and I thought that could be a real cool treat for them, and they love the idea. So they're very excited, and they get to pick a movie because they want to stay up until midnight. And I don't know how that goes, but yeah. But I thought, okay, so why not? If they really want to do that, why not? And we might as well watch a movie in the meantime or 2, because if you ask me, that's the only thing you can do on New Year's Eve. I'm not a party person generally, but also on New Year's Eve, it's not a holiday I do enjoy very much. And I thought, okay, so if that's what they want to do, that's right up my alley. Watching movies and just eating yummy food. Perfect. So they were very excited about that. I'll move on to my mending situation. Unfortunately, I don't have everything to show you. So because I was also hosting, or I should say, am also hosting a mend-along. I wanted for the mend-along to remind us that of all the things that we have in the time leading up to Christmas, or whichever holiday you're celebrating, instead of the things that we think we need or we want. you know, or we feel very tempted to buy. Me too. I'm not excluded from this equation. So, yeah, I wanted for the mend along to just put focus on the things that we have, the things, our own abilities, our own self-sufficiency, and the fact that we don't need all the stuff, right? And not everything needs to be replaced, by the way. You know, not buying new when you run out of something or something breaks is also decluttering, and is also, well, a way of slowing down your life. That sounds weird, but it's what it is. And I said, okay, let's mend one thing at least every week leading up to Christmas or to the holidays, in order to, you know, strengthen that mindset of we do have enough generally, right? Many of us. And yeah, so, and also, I mean, and obviously I mended along with whoever mended along with me. I ran into a project where I had to very quickly mend a relatively big item, and that was my daughter's snowsuit. I'll see if I have a little footage, because I did record something on that for Vlogmas, and I didn't end up using it because then I sort of canceled Vlogmas. But maybe I can insert a little footage here. If I do have something, it's going to come, it's going to be inserted here right now. It's her snowsuit, and she's now out and wearing it, so I can't show you. And the zipper broke completely, and I saw it coming, but I hoped that it would last a few weeks longer, but it completely broke, and she needed a new one, and fast. And we had taken something else to the seamstress just the day before. And she said she was so swamped with work and blah, blah, blah. And, well, it's now been 3 weeks and she still hasn't finished that item. So I thought, I'm not gonna go there again and wait for 2 weeks for that suit, because we absolutely need it. And so I had to go fetch a zipper and insert the damn thing myself. And it took me 3 hours just to take out the zipper and insert the new one and pin it, because it was fiddly. And then the next day I sat down and sewed it on with the sewing machine, which is also fiddly when you have slippery fabric and you need to sew several layers together. So the inside, so the, what's it called? I don't know what it's called. So whatever fabric is on the inside, closest to your skin, that kept slipping away. So I had to, you know, to fix that. And it isn't perfect and it isn't a masterpiece, but it is done. And I don't think anyone sees that this is not the zipper that it came with. And it was mended with love, and now it's as good as new. So I mean, it's perfect again. She can wear it and be warm, and that's what counts, right? So I mended that, and I can't show you, but maybe I will have shown you now. I don't know. And then my middle son's house shoes, which I've shown you before in older episodes. It's woolen shoes, and they got another hole in them, and they had to be mended. So I did that because it's a big nuisance to him, that hole, but it's not so much to mend for me. I did that one night, which accounted for another night that I couldn't knit. That's where my nights go. And I discovered another 2 holes, I think, in the process of mending that one hole. So I took care of all of them. And and I was very happy to have him back in his house shoes because it's cold and he needed them. So that was another project that I don't have on me now that I can't show you, but you just have to take my word for it. There is another future mending project, which I'm going to show you. This is my, what is it called? Bubble Cowl? This is by Stephen West. So this is a cowl, which has these bubbles. And so you cast on here. You knit your way through those bubbles on a small gauge and a small needle size with a fine yarn, and then you get a heavier yarn and a bigger needle, and you know, until you're here. And then you work your way back, and then you seam everything together, and I'm going to show you how it looks. Hold on. Hold on. And it's supposed to be something that you can turn into a hood, right? That you can pull up when you're outside and it's really stormy or cold, or that you can squish up like this. And for some reason, mine is super sloppy. And I don't know how to fix this because apparently I have too big of a gauge, and I didn't know before. It should, well, be a cowl. That's the issue I have with cowls. They never fit. And you can tell me whatever you want. Cowls never fit. Like, I have never had a cowl where I thought, perfect. Either it completely ruins your everything because you have to squeeze your way in, or it's just floppy and big. So for me, cowls are just an accessory and not something to stay warm. And well, this looks fun, but it isn't something that I can really use, right? So I think, I thought, what am I going to do with that? I want to use this like it was intended because I like it and I don't want to give it away and I don't want to wear it like this. So I'm going to have to put an elastic in. I figured it's worth a try. And I thought maybe it'd be a good idea to have one sort of here and one sort of here. So because an elastic in the middle will not help because then it's snug and then it flares open. I want for it to close in on the top and on the bottom, and then in the middle it can do whatever it wants. I thought, I think, I hope. Yeah. I like it. I like it fine. And I like the idea of this cowl and I want to be able to wear it. Yeah. So I'm going to have to put in an elastic or two to see whether that helps any. I hope it does. And I'm going to report back. In other very exciting news, I got a very generous package in the mail for, the knit along and the mend along because we're going to do prizes. And I think the Advent sweater knit along, I'm going to just keep that up until the end of the year. So this is going to close on the 1st of January. The mend along, I'm just going to leave that open for the next few weeks and then we'll take it from there. I don't know. It can be a year long mend along. If that's what you guys would be into, please let me know in the comments. It can be for the month of January to give you a little kick in the butt. Whatever you want this to be, we can turn this into. So let me know what we should do with the mend along. I would just leave it open for January and February at least. But whatever you fancy, let me know in the comments below. By the way, so the knit alongs, the knit along and the mend along are being hosted in the Ravelry group that I have put together for this podcast. So please hop on over there and become a member of this group. B, please post your progress or even your finished objects in the threads that I have put up there. It was very exciting for me too because I've never hosted a group, but it is fun seeing people join, and please do participate and please become a member of the group and post something in the thread because then it's going to be even more fun. And yeah, so that's where it's hosted mainly. You can also partake. You can also take part on Instagram. So the hashtag for the Advent sweater knit along is Advent Sweater Cal, which I'm going to leave on the screen or in the description box or both. And the hashtag for the mend along is plot twist mend along. One word, plot twist mend along. yeah, so post your projects on Instagram, post them on Ravelry, because that's where I'll be hosting those two things, or continue to host them. If you're not on either of them, you can still obviously join in spirit and just knit along with us and mend along with us. That's always an option. But I had to choose like 2 platforms. I'm choosing those for now. And I hope to see many of you there. So, and I said in the past, in earlier episodes, if anyone is a maker out there or a dyer and they want to donate prizes for the knit along or mend along or both, just get in contact with me, because I'm on Instagram as Katharina Knits, and you can always message me there. But also I have an email address for the channel, and that is, I think, hello@plottwistyarns.com. It's going to be down there in the description box for you as well, in case you want to get in contact with me. And I had 0 expectations, and someone got in touch, the viewer of the podcast who contributed the lovely bags and the lovely yarn, is called Maud. Thank you so much. She's a viewer from Denmark. She's been a viewer for a few episodes. I saw her comments popping up here and there, and she has generously offered to send me the bags and the yarn. She got in touch and said she wanted to donate bags that she hand sews and sells, and so project bags, that is, and also yarn. And that, if that wasn't generous enough, the package was very big and very full that arrived. So I'm now going to show you the bags that she made, and then I'm going to show you the yarn, and I'm going to pair these together for prizes. So this is going to be more than one prize. And now I have to lean back because the project bags are very big and really sweater sized or even blanket sized. So this is a very, very good sized bag size. You know what I mean? Okay, hold on. So that's how big it is. That's how it closes. And it comes with a string so that you can actually wear it over your shoulder, I assume. So that's one of the bags. That's another. Why am I turning this? This is exactly the same fabric on the front and on the back. Look at how she encased the cord, and whoosh. And then there's a third that looks like this, with a green strap. So, and the blue is repeated up here. Okay, so these are 3 fun bags. Thank you so much for this generous donation. So the bags I just showed you, and the yarn I'm going to show you now. So, sorry, this is going to be crinkling. There is going to be crinkling involved here. This is, what's it called? Holst Garn, right? Holst Garn? Is that what this is called? Holst Garn. I had to take this out of the bag because you can't see anything with the light coming in. So Holst Garn, which is lamb's wool and cotton blended together. The colorway seems to be Coast Conquer. I don't know. Holst Garn, and that is the colorway. It does not look brown, really, but I think it's a very muted dark purple. And you may laugh because this is what I always say, but it is. And if you look at it from further away, you see that. So there are 4 of these balls, and they're how much? 50 grams each. So there's going to be a lot of cuts in here because of crinkling. I want to cut out the crinkling if I can. And she beautifully packaged everything. So I have to carefully take out the individual skeins or balls. So here's another. That's Isager. Is that how you pronounce it? Or Isager? I don't know. alpaca one. So it's a very fine alpaca thread. A 50-gram ball, it comes to 400 meters. So that's lace weights. And there you go. And isn't that beautiful? It's also a very pretty purple. A sort of a heathered look. It's a purple with the lightest little pink in there. And I think this held together with the other, with the Holst Garn colorway. Oops, that would be really perfect. I don't know about the content though, about lamb's wool and cotton and alpaca, how that works out, but that is very pretty. And this is the color Sky. Then she included 2 skeins of this colorway. So the dye seems to be Maske Fabrikken. It's hand dyed and the colorway is emerald. And this is 75% wool and 25% polyamide. Polyamide? Whatever it's called. There you go. So there are 2 of these. Pretty, right? And then there is a package of these 2 beauties together. So this is Lana Gatto, so Italian silk mohair. The colorway is A4253. This is super kid mohair and silk. This beautiful. It's not as peachy as I see it on screen now, but it is a peachy pink. And then there is more of a pink, of a mauve pink, possibly. And that is Knitting for Olive, Cotton Merino, Rhubarb Rose, in the, Rhubarb Rose colorway, 70% organic cotton and 30% merino, 50-gram ball. There you go. And these together would be really gorgeous. These would be really beautiful together. So, and then Maud said I am supposed to keep 1 each. So 1 set of yarn and 1 bag. And it's hard to choose. I think I'm keeping the alpaca Isager. I'm going to call it Isager because I don't know what it's called. And I have decided to go with this bag, with the red. I just like the red and this sort of, well, golden fabric. Yeah, I'm keeping that. Thank you so much. This is very generous, very generous. I had no expectations whatsoever, so this completely overwhelmed me. Thank you so very much for your support for the channel. And now you have even more of an incentive to take part in the Knit Along and Mend Along, and also post on Ravelry and on Instagram with the hashtags, because that's where I'm going to pull from. And with just a handful of people joining in, your chances of winning are excellent. So please join in on the fun. And with the holidays just having passed and with the new year just around the corner, I've done what I always do on the 25th, so the day after gift giving. And this is, I turned the wrapping paper into envelopes for next year's Christmas mail. That's what I've always done. It's just always been what I wanted to do with the wrapping paper. I hate throwing wrapping paper away. I'm someone who opens presents super carefully. Even before I cared about wrapping paper, even as a kid, all of my memories are of me thinking, what are my friends doing ripping open presents? I sat there and opened them carefully. So I still do that. I love paper. I think it's my love of paper. And so we have eliminated much of wrapping paper. So we use a fabric to wrap presents, or we have bags, fabric bags that like drawstring bags that we reuse that in different sizes that we reuse, or those that I got that I showed you on my day 3 of Vlogmas when I was still doing it. And yeah, and but the grandparents still use a lot of wrapping paper. So there is some paper coming in, and if there's bigger pieces of paper that are still good for like a bigger sort of like my kids got gifted a big calendar. That's a big chunk of paper that can be reused, so we're going to reuse that. But if it's smaller pieces, or if the paper is slightly damaged, I'm going to use those bits and pieces for envelopes, and they're going to look like this. And they're going to be fun for next year's Christmas mail. And also, I like to be prepared. I hate not being prepared. And I did not iron them. As you can see, they're creased, but I think they're supposed to be because they're made out of wrapping paper. And so I have made 3 of those fun ones. And I've made these ones with stars on them in the back to look like this. And yes, they're creased, but they're handmade, and they're gonna do a wonderful job. So I have made 6, 7, which is way less than in years past, and yay for that, because that means we haven't had a flood of paper coming in. So that is my little collection right here. I've collected other paper, like I said, for next year to be reused, and I have torn scraps from those bits that really had to go for journaling, because that's another project that I've been doing over the last month. I've been very inspired by Chelsea of Chelsea Makes, who is one half of Legacy Fiber Arts, and she has a Patreon account channel, and I'm a patron of hers, and so I got to see her Vlogmas, and she has shared her art journaling, which she hasn't done in a while, I think, but now I've seen a lot of her art journaling, and I got so inspired, and I thought, oh man, that's really what I want to do. I wanted to carve some time out of the day or out of the night to sit down and do a little bit of journaling and paper collaging and whatnot, and just write down a few things about the day or the past few days, because I obviously didn't do it on a daily basis. But I think also I got to thinking, I think I've been an art journaler all my life, really. When it wasn't a thing, I've journaled, and I've kept a diary as soon as I could write. 2nd grade, I think, I started a diary, and I've been keeping a diary ever since. And I think it's one of the most therapeutic things in life, is just to write things down. It's one of the best things. And I've always kept little notes and cards and wrapping paper bits and pieces, and whatever I had, I used and collaged it into my books. And yes, there were pages and pages where I just wrote, and then there were many pages, I'm sure, when I go back through all of my diaries that I've kept, that are collaged, sort of, or today you would say art journaling, but I don't know that I've done the art journaling style that you see today, so that makes me a little insecure. Like, I think, what are they all doing all of a sudden? Like, how do you do that? How does it look so polished? They go like patch, and all of a sudden it is this fancy schmancy page that they put together. I don't know that I do that, but I collect bits and pieces from my day and from my encounters, like not gift cards, what's it called, little notes that were tied onto gifts, or notes that someone left me, or I don't know what, and then I will always include those. Yes, I have a handful of washi tapes that I use, but emphasis on a handful. I don't have one of those fancy boxes or anything like that. It's cool if you have that, but you don't by any means need them to journal and to art journal. So I did that also with my boys who love that. I mean, for them, it's mostly stickers and tapes and stamps, but they don't really write down anything about their lives. But I do. And I did that in the month of December, a little more than I usually do. And I saved many of the, or some of the scraps, paper scraps that were really sort of gone that I had to throw away to put in there, right? And yeah, brought me joy, and I can only encourage you to work with paper. It's good. It's a good feeling. And to make those envelopes, that's my element of play, really. I mean, apart from the knitting, but paper really makes me very happy. And it's something very down to earth that you can hold in your hands, that is very flexible and does what you want it to do, but it's also an actual material thing, right? And it's a very no fuzz, down to earth material to work with, like wool. So yeah, I love paper. I love paper. And I am now going to begin to set up my new planner, my calendar. And I'm using a German planner that, if you're German, I think this is the best thing out there. Ein guter Plan. Translates as a good plan. And it's born out of, or it's a planner for a mind that incorporates sort of mindfulness in the planning of your week, of your work life, of your family life, of your everything. And they're very much focused on preventing burnout, being present with your anxiety, with your fears, with your with where your energy goes, with it's just a mindfulness and stress prevention sort of calendar. And that sounds very fancy, but it's just a calendar. I love them. I've had these calendars for years now, and I got this one as well, and they look like this. So you have your days of the week, and then you have a page that they change the outlay of those pages every so many years. There were some that I've liked better, but I've gotten very used to this sort of layout. They have an incentive down here, and you can write your focus of the week up here. If I do really keep that calendar on a daily basis and update it, which throughout the year, there are many weeks when I do, I use this entire page. Like it's intended, sort of. Not that it matters. You can do whatever you want with it. But on this page, that looks like a bullet journal page, I usually write down extra things that happened on the individual days of the week. And I use it to write down thoughts that I've had, or moments when I realized something, something clicked in my mind. And I don't have the time to sit down and journal about it, but I want to write it down, because you forget. You do forget, even those moments when you're like, oh my God, that's what's been holding me up, or that's what, the problem is, or that's the solution to my problem. You will forget if you don't write it down. Writing is just of the essence. Writing, I don't know what I would do without it. So that's my calendar, and I inserted little makeshift washi tape indexes in the end, where you can keep notes on the last pages for whenever I have an idea of, like, I could give this to someone, I'm gonna write this down, or I wish for this book or whatever, I'm gonna write this down. And then pages that I keep for planning my kids' birthdays, and then my birthday next year, because it's a big birthday and we might do something, I don't know. So I've set up pages for next Christmas, like the cards that we're going to send out and gifts and whatnot, because otherwise it just gets very all over the place with my notes, and I don't like flicking back and forth. So I've done a little bit of organizing, if you will. emphasis on a little bit. It may have been a half an hour, but not more. And then there is what I've been watching, which is The Crown. I have continued watching The Crown. Not as much as I would have loved, because it's a show that I need some brain space to focus on. But I have watched it a little bit more. I'm still in season 2, or at the end of season 2, I think. So very early on, but I do enjoy it a lot. And I'm wondering if the Queen isn't portrayed as a person that's a little bit too likable. I don't know. I'm just putting it out there. I have also rewatched The Gilmore Girls, which I've watched countless times in my life. I could honestly not tell you how often I've watched all of those. A ridiculous amount of times. And it's just been something that I put on not to be in the background, but when I'm like, I'm going to bed in a half an hour. I just want to knit on something. I don't necessarily look at the TV all the time. It's just, I have it on. I know it by heart, and it's very soothing to me. It's just fun. It's just fun. I have watched The Great, which is such a cool show. If you haven't watched it, oh man, it's a huge recommendation. The first episode was a little bit of like, what is this? And I didn't think it was fun. I don't think it was funny, but I thought, ouch, what is going on here? And from the second episode onwards, I was completely sold. It is such a fun show. Such a cool show. I do have a little catching up to do, and yeah, and I'm excited for the next season to come out. And then I wanted to share with you what I got for Christmas. Not many things. We didn't wish for many things. I'm always happy when I have a little pile of curated gifts that I what's the word? Specifically asked for, that I've been thinking about. I would like to receive this little thing. And that's always so much fun. So now I'm at that age where, like, the smaller the pile of gifts, the better. So I got one gift that I really, really, really wished for, and my husband got it for me. Michelle Obama's new book, The Light We Carry. And so I trust her with everything. I think she is amazing. Also, she writes about her knitting and how it got her through the last few years, through the pandemic and through all the upheaval that's going on. And oh God, I just love her. She is just so amazing. Sitting down with, who was that I saw just recently, with Gail King, I think it might have been her. And she took out her sweater and says, this is a top-down sweater, and this is how it's constructed. And I made a blanket and a hat and a mitten, or two, and all sorts of blankets. And that's what I did throughout COVID. And I thought, she is just so amazing. This is a top-down sweater. And she was so, like, she gave that, like, the way she talked about her knitting, and I think it was Gail King who said, you're proud of that. And she said, I am very proud of my knitting. And I thought, oh man, she goes through life like that. I'm very proud of my knitting. And I thought, we all should be very proud of our knitting. It's such a skill. It's such an amazing skill, and it's so therapeutic, just like writing. And I loved seeing that little clip. And this is a top-down sweater. She was so proud to be able to explain how this is constructed and how this is done. And she talked about it with the same sort of importance that she talks about other things. And I thought, and right, she is. All of us should value the importance of our knitting like that. Yes, she does write about her knitting, but she also writes about just generally how to get through hard times, like how to get through times when you feel like everything is out of your control and you don't know what's going on in the world, basically. And this year that's coming to a close was so very hard for me in that respect. I don't think I cannot think of another year that's been as trying for me in terms of emotional upheaval and mental health as this one. And as soon as I saw she'd written that book, I thought, I have to have this and to read this. Not that I don't have to have this, but I have to read this. And so I wished for it. And yeah, I got another book, which is a German book. And if you are German, or German, or speak German, or if this has been translated, which I have no idea, I think this is really good. And he's written another book that is perfect. So Frank Berzbach is the author. This is called Die Form der Schönheit, so the form of beauty. And his other book that I've read is called Die Kunst, ein kreatives Leben zu führen. So the art of leading a creative life. It's a beautiful edition, and it's a beautiful book. I mean, it really added value to my life, right? And when I saw this, I thought, and see how slim this is, even I can finish this. I thought this is really something that I want to read. And I mean, look at how beautiful it is. He writes about how we need beauty and how we need beautiful things and beauty in arrangement and colors and, you know, the playfulness of beauty, sort of. How beauty is essential to us and our well-being, and how this is not tied to art, or not only, right? We don't need to be rich to buy a masterpiece and hang it on our wall to have, like, to be surrounded by beauty, but we need to see, like, it's more of a refocusing on seeing the beauty in our everyday and also fostering the beauty in our everyday. And at least that's what I figure that from what I've read so far. And I'm very excited about this. And I might report back. I don't know. Maybe there are Germans out there who know him and have read books of his. I think from what I read, he is amazing. I received another gift by my friend Claire. Hi. I've mentioned her before. And she is the one who I swap with, right? My advent calendar. And this was my full skein for the 25th. So it's called Birdhouse. It's from Birdhouse Fibres. And isn't this the most fun pink/purple? Going into those darker tones and coming from this light pink. I think this is so beautiful. The colorway is called Berry Daring, and it's on a squish sock base. So that's superwash merino, 85% superwash merino and 15% nylon. Beautiful. I was so happy to receive this. My mind is already buzzing with what I could do with it. I have an idea, but I'm not sure that I'm going to stick with it. I'm going to sit on this for a while and see how how perfect the color is for me. I'm going to talk about the sweater in a second, but I'm first going to show you another present that I got because my friend Francie, hi again, she heard me, well, not cry about, but just mention how I love Chaogu red laces for sock knitting and for everything really. And I have my 2.25 millimeter Chaogu red lace needles with too long of a cord. I have 100 centimeters cord, and I should have gotten an 80. And I sort of knew it when I bought it. And now every time that I pull the loop, I have to pull the sock out of the loop. And it's not a hassle, but it's just annoying. And I'm not the person who goes and buys a new set of needles for that. I just don't. I'm too modest. I'm like, oh, it's okay. It's not a big of a deal. And she heard my misery though. She got me a new set of needles with an 80 centimeter cord. Isn't that so cute? And then, fancy, I'm not going to show everything just for time management reasons, but hold on. Where is it? But her daughter, one of her daughters, made me a progress keeper. Isn't that so cute? Hold on. See? She made such a cute little, well, it's hard to show, but such a cute little progress keeper herself. Isn't that so fun? Yes, yes it is. So those are gonna go in my next project for sure. Where this is going to go, and the needles in my next sock project. Okay, so that's that for Christmas gifts that I wanted to share with you. What else? What else? What else? What else? What did I? Oh, yes, I wanted to talk to you about the sweater that I'm wearing. So my what I'm wearing segment is coming as close to that episode. I am wearing a sweater that I've shown to you in my fall sweaters episode a few years back. Yes, a few weeks back. This is my Zweig sweater, designed by Caitlin Hunter. So I knit this out of Rosa Pommard Mending, which is the green yarn, and hedgehog fibers for this mauvey pinky situation here. If you need the exact data for this project, please go check out my Ravelry page that I'm linking down below for you, because I don't remember any of it. I've shown this sweater in my sweaters episode, and I told you that I've never actually worn it because I finished it during my second pregnancy, and then it's somehow a third, I think second, and it somehow never got worn. And I thought this is ridiculous because I thought it was too short, but it's actually not. It's pretty long. So yeah, and on Christmas Eve, I thought I'm just gonna wear it. Because for me, this was a very special sweater because I'd never worn it. And look at how pretty the yoke is. I just think it's gorgeous. It's much tighter on me than on the picture in the pattern, right? There is this very famous picture, or famous, but you know, the one picture that Caitlin Hunter posted way back when, with the sweater being shown from the back and the girl who has her hair all braided so beautifully. Maybe it's her, I don't know. I think it was someone else though. Anyway, so that was, that's a much looser fit in that image. And she's so known for those more loose fits and the very deep armpits. And I'm sort of glad that this fits more like a snugger sweater on me. It's not zero ease or negative ease, but it doesn't have a lot of positive ease to it. I think it's got no ease to it. Okay, so, but you've probably been wondering throughout this entire video, what is going on here? This is weird because she has short rows incorporated, which I appreciate very much. And they're not as cute. So everything, all the stitches are where they're supposed to be. But in the back, it lies flat on my back. But here, all of a sudden, it starts to like almost throw bubbles. Can you see this? Doesn't this look weird? What is this? And this is really too much fabric. Like this, there is no way to get rid of this except for making a seam. Like I would have to seam it and take it in. And I think it might be what I have to do. Which is not at all what I want to do, but what can I do? And my question is, has this happened to you? Does anyone know about this problem? Has this happened to you with that sweater? Maybe it's a combination of yarns, but there shouldn't be an issue there. It's not like this is cotton or anything. And the gauge could not be a problem either, because no matter how loose or tight your gauge, there are not supposed to be crumples like this. And this is really just a piece of fabric that stands up. I'm going to give this another soak because it's been in my closet for a while. I'm going to soak this to see if that sort of rectifies the situation, but I don't think it will, because it's just excess fabric. And then the brim, I was thinking, not the brim, what's it called? The collar. So the ribbing, the ribbing just goes down to here. There's just a centimeter of ribbing or something like that. And I thought maybe that's too snug. So that pulls it in too much, so as to give this the sort of pucker, not pucker, but like, yeah, to pull it in too much so that these sort of bubbles are created. But I don't think that's it either. This isn't as snug. This is a mystery. And it's a little annoying because I don't think it looks nice. Like, I don't think it looks nice when your shoulder is done and then you have this little wobble right here. So I'll have to think about how to fix this. If you have any idea, if you've encountered this, maybe with this particular design, please let me know. I would very much appreciate any tip that I can get. Yeah, well, anyway, that's the situation with the sweater. Otherwise, it's perfect. It is very lovely. It's very warm despite being fingering weight, but it's not superwash yarn. And yes, my arms are too long. If I roll them up like this, it's not very enjoyable with little kids and your everyday housework. But I do appreciate it that I can make them long, like that I have these long sleeves for like under the jacket or for it's really cold. And also I don't mind the look of this. So yeah, it's a very warm sweater. The length is good. I'm going to finally weave in the last what is it? Strand that still has to be woven in on the back. And yeah, and that's that with my Zweig sweater. Okay, guys, I'm going to leave it at that. I hope you have a wonderful start to a new year. I hope you're all healthy and well, and that you have beautiful holidays, behind you to look back on. I hope that you have a beautiful year to look ahead, to celebrate when it arrives, or just cherish every day of. I hope the new year is going to bring you so many good memories and that you're gonna love looking back on it. If you're struggling with whatever you're struggling with, I hope that you find someone or something to lean on and to support you. And if it's a book, like in my case, or whatever that gives you hope and strength and focus, I hope that you find these things. Yes, like I said, please check out the show notes below. Please join the Ravelry group. Feel free to like and subscribe below for this YouTube channel. Obviously, also come see me over on Instagram. I'm not super active there, but I'm definitely most active there. And I'm happy to welcome you in that space as well. If you feel like supporting this podcast in any way, shape, or form, you can head over to my Ko-fi page and get me a sweet little, very low-cost cup of coffee or tea there. There is no expectations from my side at all, but if you feel so inclined, you may use this platform. As for the rest, I think I'm going to just wrap it up here. I'm very happy to be back with my podcast. And yeah, our December has just been super hectic, but the podcast has been on my mind and my Vlogmas has been on my mind, and your companionship and our little exchange here over the videos has been on my mind very much. So I've been thinking of this space a whole lot, and it was so important to me to get back as soon as I possibly could. Yeah, and I wish you all the best for the next year. I hope you can enjoy those in between days, and I hope to get the video up soon. So, okay, take care. And I hope to chat to you very soon, again, right here. Take care. Bye.